Hey everybody, we're here to talk about this epic crazy weekend where we're getting away from the Juventus content, where we're going back into wrestling a little bit. We've got German Dave who has 10 pages of notes. That's how
Oh yeah,
cinematic this weekend is. So we'll kind of go briefly, we'll talk about Mania, and then we'll talk about the Raw after Mania, and we'll kind of maybe predict a little bit of the SmackDown after Mania, but there's a
oh yeah.
lot to digest. I mean, I'm gonna let you take it away because you've got probably more thoughts than I do.
Damn, my man. This was the greatest weekend of professional wrestling that I witnessed since I started watching like the WWE completely live. Like in my like back then I watched like just the highlights and everything I could. They didn't even have the YouTube channel back then, so I watched everything on WWE.com and stuff like that. And like this was the culmination of my 10 years of watching wrestling and WrestleMania, and this was my 10th WrestleMania. So damn, what a what a what a festivus it was to watch this. It was an incredible experience.
I enjoyed it. I mean, this kind of, especially the main event of night two, reminded me something of like
Oh
straight out of
yeah.
WrestleMania 2000. Like it was just nuts. The amount of just characters. It was over. Honestly, it was overbooked with everyone that was coming in there, but I didn't give a shit. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Dude,
all
it,
of it.
it we had Avengers Infinity War the first night, and we had Avengers Endgame the second night.
That's honestly what it was. If you were to
Yeah.
put it narratively, right? Let's start with night one. So we'll start with the opening match. You and I and Frankie both predicted Becky Lynch to get beat by Rhea, essentially putting Rhea Ripley over.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people were crazy about Rhea's opening. I wasn't too, I was just kind of like, maybe I'm just someone without taste, but whatever. I didn't care for the opening. I thought the match was great. Shout out to Becky for doing it with a 102
Yeah.
degree fever. That was
Oh
nuts.
yeah.
That was ridiculously nuts. But uh, again, I think Rhea's like the it factor for the women's division. I think right
Oh,
now,
100%.
after beating Becky, I think they need to find somebody for her to compete against.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on that one on this match, or you good to
So
move on?
no, so for me it was clear that Rhea will win because I think all of us expect her to stay the big thing, and they want to build her up even further. And that's why we all agreed that she will win this match, and also by dominant fashion. Like she got the high energy entrance in this match. And it's also not like my taste of music, but the great thing is that she came in with high energy.
Mhm.
And Becky's felt a little bit like a riding into the sunset a little bit with her book being CGI'd there and everything. And I think she will go on a hiatus for a short period of time. Yeah, I think the match and the script were like here as well was incredible. Like the match was centered around Becky not being able to overcome her, and this match just made Rhea look incredible and unbeatable, and like it built her up like to be the most dominant thing. And also now they have to build up the most another most dominant thing to I don't know who else like can end this title reign except of people
Yeah,
we may get
the
into
only
it
one right now that
later.
would be the only one that would be credible would be Bianca. That'd be a credible face for someone to fight Rhea, and I don't know if they're gonna try to
Yeah.
turn Rhea Ripley face. Maybe they'll try to do it. They've kind of sowed the seeds for it
Oh,
a
she is a,
bit.
she's a face already, like but like by accident.
Yeah, it's kind of like how LA Knight was back then, right? LA Knight was originally a heel, and then it was just he had so much of a pop that we're just like, oh fuck it, we'll move him to a face. I mean, the wrestling was good, the match was good. I had nothing to complain about that one. The next
Yeah.
one, The tag match. So we had A-Town Down Under win the
Oh yeah,
SmackDown titles, Awesome Truth win the Raw titles. I thought the match was great. I enjoyed it. I guess
yeah,
WWE is deciding to say, hey, they're gonna. I think that's gonna be one of the primary focuses. Is they're gonna really try to focus on the tag team division, right? Because
yeah.
normally it's just over the past couple of years there wasn't. I know a lot of folks and like the more veteran folks were not real fans of splitting the titles. I think the titles needed to get split, in my opinion, and
They
I
need
might have
to.
an unpopular
Yeah,
opinion here because it seems like we've built the main event scene. We've got a bunch of great main event
yeah.
personalities. It's like, why not start showing some love to the tag team division? Because the tag team division just hasn't. Like, for example, you'll have maybe two or three like actual credible teams right now, and then you have like kind of, I don't know if you want to call them jobbers, but just like teams that are per se there. So it's like with SmackDown, I understand what they're
Yeah,
trying to do because with essentially with the whole Netflix and USA thing going on, where SmackDown becomes the USA show and then Raw goes to Netflix, you're gonna have to develop. I don't see keeping a unified tag team title makes sense
yeah. Nope,
because
I 100% agree.
because like for example the tag team champs would be one thing on SmackDown and limited to what they do on SmackDown versus what they could do on Netflix. So I
Yeah,
think I think they're really going for a hardcore brand split. So I think what
yeah.
we'll see within the next couple of months is them develop tag teams. So that's why, and we were right with the A
With
Town
both
Down
teams, yeah,
Under winning. Yeah, we were right with that one. Obviously, I think our truth and Miz winning is a dead giveaway.
yeah.
Dead giveaway.
100. Yeah,
I
100%. We knew that, and for me, the consequence of them winning is that 100% heel faction has to win the SmackDown title then, and that's
Mhm.
what we got as well. Like I didn't think the Judgment Day will retain the titles because there will be some storyline now with them. So that's why I thought that A Tone Down Under will win the SmackDown tag titles, and it just happened. Yeah,
Yeah, and I also think that they overgrew the tag team title, so Judgment
yeah,
Day had to move on. I mean, unless
yeah.
it's JD McDouble Cheeseburger and Dom as a tag team championship run at some
Yeah,
point.
but
I think
they're not worthy for me as tag
y-
champs. Like they're the
no.
tag team that is there to challenge like we saw yesterday, basically
Yeah,
on
it
Monday
they're
Night Raw.
I want to say it's like a jobber team essentially. It's like Otis and Tozawa, right? Where it's like you like them, but at the
Yep,
same time they're
yep,
not really like a credible tag team.
yep,
So it goes to
yep,
show, I think WWE is trying to pivot to building more tag teams to build credible tag teams with storylines and whatnot because of the direction that the
yep,
company is going. I'm all for it. I used to love tag team wrestling back when it was
yep,
WWF. You had, even though right now I think you arguably have better wrestlers than you had back then, but the tag team matches back then were entertaining, and sometimes you could have your main stars go down into the tag division and have some fun. The Rock and
yep,
Sock connection is one of them. So I'm all for it. I understand where people are kind of like, it's not a great idea, but I think they're let them cook at this time being. I think Triple H has earned that courtesy of us sitting back and letting him cook for that
absolutely,
division.
absolutely,
The
dude.
match was awesome. Go ahead.
Alone the few moments we got there, like DIY coming and like
With
cosplayed
DX.
as DX was incredible. I love that immediately. And the best part was when our truth was was thinking it's a normal tag team match for the title, and when
The
he
hot
just
tag. The hot tag was so
dude,
funny.
it was incredible when he just stood there, and then Miss finally like got to do the hot tag, and he came in and did the whole John Cena moveset, and he got to pin Finn Balor inside of the ring. And I love the angle that they explained on the Pat McAfee show that R-Truth is the first superstar to win a tag team match inside of a six-pack ladder match. You, so you won two matches like within one match, basically. I absolutely love that.
I thought it was great. Our Truth is a gem. Ever since they brought him back and at Survivor Series, our Truth has just been
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Yeah, well, I'm kind of curious to see the direction that Miz and R-Truth go. Obviously, I think they're transitional champions. I think they're going to be beat by the eventual.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think, in my opinion, I think it might be Imperium. I think this season of wrestling is going to be the rise of Imperium. So I would not be surprised if Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci win it, or they kind
yeah,
of have a face match with DIY. But I'm starting to think, because, like, for example, I think Gunther challenging for the world title or the WWE title, wherever
yeah,
Gunther ends up, because the draft will be in the end of April. So I
yeah,
think wherever Gunther goes, I think Imperium will challenge for those respective tag team titles. So right now I'm just speculating that it's Raw.
yeah,
Though, judging off of, and when we get into the Raw after Mania, I'm starting to have my suspicions on what titles are going where. So we'll
yeah.
we'll kind of touch in on that a little bit later. But moving on to the next match, Rey Mysterio, Andrade, Santos Escobar, Dom. I really didn't care much for this. This was kind of a match that was
Yeah.
supposed to be on a SmackDown. Andrade looked good.
Andrade looked incredible. Like this match, like wasn't anything big for me. But when they added Andrade to the mix on SmackDown, like immediately the match became for me more entertaining, because I like Andrade, of course, that much more than Dragon Lee, and I think he was a great addition to that match, and he like did all the incredible like high flying spots, dude. It's still to me incredible, like his physique being that tall, that I don't know, with that muscular body type to do all his high flying moves, moonsaults, and everything. It's just incredible to me.
Yeah, and I really think WWE creative, unless they're really using this for the Carlito, and we'll probably find out more on SmackDown. Uh,
Yeah,
they were kind of like, because I was like sitting there, I'm like, with all due respect to Dragon Lee, how do you have Andrade sit out and you have Dragon Lee on the
yeah,
WrestleMania card? I just, again, that to me never was. It just was weird. It just didn't make sense to me.
yeah,
But there's the one thing I always find ironic is that Rey Mysterio, I guess, just does not want to put Dom over. He's like Hulk Hogan. But the problem is, and I think the reason why they had to involve Dom and Andrade in this is because with Ray being injured, it kind of killed the Santos heel feud per
yeah,
se. It lost steam. So because nobody cared, they thought that, hey, let's add Dominic Mysterio to this
yeah,
to generate some free heat. But even Dom couldn't generate any heat or really any care for this. It just wasn't good. And honestly, in my
yeah,
opinion, I think you need LWL or LWO and Legado to just kind of
yeah,
split apart and not deal with each other anymore, because
yeah.
it's just kind of a waste.
And I think the good thing, like the only good thing I took from this match is that this will build now into a storyline, something with the Judgment Day, because as we will talk later, like Rhea said, "Hey, how can you let Andrade betray you and do nothing about it?" And this will be like a whole entire storyline. And Charlotte is also rumored to be close to returning, so 100% she will get involved somehow and maybe challenge Rhea or whatever. So it was a good match to set up like a different thing, but I didn't care about it like as a match really.
Yeah, it depends, right? Like it really kind of is like seeds for the draft in a sense. Even though,
Yeah,
the draft isn't lottery done or anything like that. They've got it scripted and the idea on
yeah.
where to go. All right. The next match we'll go on to is the 6 women tag match: Damage Control versus Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. Um, I'm still on the fence about Jade Cargill. She looks the part, but
She feels.
she feels the
sh-
part.
Yeah,
But we had a bet, right? We had a bet when we were watching it
yeah.
live,
Hey,
and we're like, how many
she.
moves is she gonna do? And she did more than 3, did
Yeah,
about 8, but
yeah.
I I don't I'm still concerned with her ability.
For me, it's not as big as a concern for you, because I think she will figure it out. They wouldn't have pushed her right now like this weekend, and including yesterday, if she wasn't ready. Of course, like she can fine tune stuff all the time, but I think she is ready. And also we have to to consider that it was an 8.5 minute match only, and there's
Oh,
only
yeah.
so much, and there's only so much offense you can do in 8.5 minutes with 6 competitors. So
But
yeah,
it is what we predicted, right? She came in, hot tag,
yeah,
finished the match, pretty
yep,
much.
yep,
My concern now is when you look at it from a storyboard writing, this is more so lining up for Bianca and Jade to go after the tag titles, to win the tag titles, and in my opinion, this kind of weighs Bianca Belair down a little bit because it's just like the tag titles for the women's division are kind of laughed upon. It's like frowned upon
yeah.
more so.
No, yeah, but I think a kind of a little bit that Bianca needs that though, because if you have somebody constantly in that main title picture, it wears on them. You know, the crowd gets a little bit cold. So, hey, Cody spent like half a year like battling Nakamura and everybody, and still they got him hot in the last months after the Royal Rumble. So I think Bianca may need a little bit of a tag team run or something in the mid card, and then we all know she's a main eventer and big time, and she'll get her moment anyways.
Yeah, just hopefully that buys enough time for Jade to actually, because obviously it's going to
Yep.
lead up to Jade versus Bianca at some point.
Yep.
It's just you can't have Jade versus Bianca be a 5 or 8 minute squash match like
Yep.
it was, with Chelsea Green. It's just not possible. So
Oh,
hopefully she settles in and gets into it. But again, I'm a little bit kind of like, just let's be careful. People change their expectations and not be like, this is going to be like a Sami Zayn or a Gunther wrestler, and she's not. And you can't put a square peg into a round hole, but whatever. We'll let WWE figure out what they're going to do with it. But
yep.
the next match is the brother versus brother match, Jimmy versus Jay. I just thought that was an absolute flop.
Hey, it was an absolute flop, and I have only three notes for it. The first note, the worst match in my opinion. The second note, it was just a super kick fest, and the third note, there was no storyline. Like it wasn't anything. It didn't help further the Bloodline storyline. It didn't help it didn't do like any character work for one of them, because both were still with the same sides, of course, in the main event of night 2 then. So it didn't change anything. It was just there on the card, and this super kick fest, and also the match didn't last long, and yeah, not a lot to say.
It wasn't. Like, for example, that match should have been done after SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That match should have been done after SummerSlam. But the problem is that, they were like, hey, let's fulfill what the Usos wanted, and the match will draw because it's the Usos. We don't have to do much. And little
My
did they
problem
know,
with it is if you do a brother versus brother, in this case a blood feud, because both have chosen their sides. Like one works for Thanos basically, and the other one works for the Avengers. So what would have helped it for me is a stipulation or a cage match or anything, like, to make it feel bigger than just the super kick fest that we got. Like if they had got weapons involved or anything, like it would have been immediately like bigger for me, but it didn't happen. So for me it was the worst match of the whole weekend.
The buildup was terrible. The only interactions you had was when Jimmy cost Jay those titles or opportunities, and then one promo. It's like Bret Hart is probably laughing. He's like, this is absolutely, mine's still better. Like me versus Owen is a better match. It just, I didn't, it was just, I don't know. I just was like, I was shocked. But then at the same time, like, this is kind of what happened. They didn't build up to it. It was never a thing. But, that's disappointing. But I don't think we're going to see an Uso versus Uso match again anymore. I think that's pretty much done and dusted as far as pay-per-view. So now getting into the good stuff for night 1. Sami Zayn versus Gunther, absolute classic. The one thing, whoever is doing the production for the videos, because like for example, they did a full-blown transition from Sami talking to his kid and his wife and walking all the way out.
Oh my god, I love that. Give this man an award or whatever, dude.
Because they did that when Sami met with Gunther and signed the contract for the match, where they followed Sami all the way to the back, and then it transitions to R-Truth and Miz talking with DIY.
Yeah.
Whoever's been doing that, that is awesome. That is the best single shot transition ever. Like you had Sammy talking to his wife, his kid, telling his kid to
Yeah.
go to the back, doesn't want to see this, and then Sammy walks away, runs into Chad Gable, uh, asking Chad to go with them, and then Chad's like, "No, you got this on your own," and the whole
You're
Rocky
ready.
vibes.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
with the Rocky vibes, Sammy, you owe me a favor, and then Sammy goes out and walking through the gorilla and everything, getting towards the entrance to the stage. Kevin Owens being there, slapping him in the face, saying "Go do it." That intro was
Dude,
probably one of the best intros I've seen ever,
ever, ever.
ever. And
Literally.
and there's like, and it's like, for example, it's not like, the outlandish triple I don't want to say outlandish, but like the overblown Triple H entrances or other things like that with Cena and stuff. It was simple. It was literally a cameraman following
Yeah.
him from the back
Yeah.
to there. Nothing
I,
crazy.
they made us in 1 minute of storytelling. They made us care about it more than the past weeks we saw Sammy trying to get stronger and to get mentally and physically ready for this match. This minute alone was better storytelling than we had the last couple of weeks,
I know.
and it was just incredible. Immediately the match felt big, and there was something in the air all of a sudden that just wasn't there at first.
It got us emotionally invested into this. And
Yeah.
could you imagine if they did this for the Montreal or the Quebec City match against Roman Reigns, if they did
Oh
something
my
like that?
god. Oh
That
my
would have been
god.
nuts. Yeah. Way to go, Vince. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking if that happened then that would have been nuts. Maybe they
Oh
might
yeah.
do it, they might do it next week, if you know what I'm thinking. But that match was great. Sammy and Gunther, absolute phenomenal performers in the ring. Uh,
They
I
killed it.
just it was awesome. It was interesting how you saw the cracks in Gunther's character because, remember Gunther was always
Yeah.
like always just stoic, just about that business, just focused in on it and did it. Or it's like
Yeah.
this match against Sammy you could tell like he was taunting his wife, he was taunting him. And that's where,
Yeah.
like for example, Gable would say, "Hey, you'll get the opportunity, you take it." Sammy with the Halua kick, the jumping Halua kick. And then he grabs him,
Yeah.
and then I thought it was just gonna be a superplex. I was 100% convinced it was
Yeah.
a superplex just for it to turn
Oh
into
my
a
god.
top rope brain buster.
That was the most
I
incredible
We
move
lost our
we have
shit.
seen like all weekend. That was, dude, I haven't, like, he did that in the indies, I believe, but never did it in WWE because those moves are forbidden in WWE. But man, for him to save it up and get that out like on the biggest stage at WrestleMania was
And it was
incredible.
and it's it's credit to him and Gunther. Gunther. Like
Yeah.
it's just those two were able to execute something like that where you can't really do that move per se. So
No.
it took like two incredible wrestlers to do it.
Oh yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
Sammy hits the second kick. I think you, Frankie, myself, and Sal were all just like, yeah, he's kicking out here. And then, like, the
Yeah.
third
Hey, we
hand,
couldn't.
we're just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? He won?
Hey, this was the biggest shocker of the whole weekend for me, because with the other ones we were pretty much
It's more than
yeah,
likely happening.
like yeah, like we figured all the others out, and our booking and what we thought the endings for the matches would be, we were pretty accurate with most of it, like except of some, like the Andrade match that that we got wrong. But yeah,
Yeah.
who cares about that one? But like everybody had Gunther retaining the title for this match, and the result was just the most shocking, like we have seen the whole weekend. And honestly, the the story that was told in this match, with, like you said, the cracks in Gunther's character. And this was the first example we had for this weekend, which would become a theme later, that the cocky, arrogant heel champion cost himself because of his arrogance.
Hmm.
And this will end up like being a theme that we will see a couple of times. And I think like the story the build-up we got before the game, him taunting Sammy's wife. Oh my god! I loved everything about it. And he calls himself the actual Ring General, which means he only cares about the work inside the ring. And he went completely off character, and it's the story of that being the thing that costed him because he went away from his own character. A
And it makes
masterpiece, in my
sense.
opinion.
It is, right?
Yep.
And and that kind of shows to you how strong he is. For someone to beat him clean, he had to be at his worst in a sense.
Yep.
Like that to me was narratively perfect, because I think that's the question that we were all there. Like, how does Gunter lose without looking weak? Like, that was the main question that we had, because we all knew Gunter was going to transition into the main event scene. The question was, how was he
Yep.
going to drop the title? And I think this was a perfect
Yep.
way. I mean, this moment
It
was
was
so big
perfect.
that Samantha herself was choking, announcing Sami Zayn as the winner.
Yeah.
Like, because
It was really,
so she requests that she doesn't get the results so she can
yep.
announce them genuinely. And she
And
was
with
shook
all
too.
emotions and everything. Yep.
Yeah, she was
Dude,
shook.
we all were like, literally everybody was in shock. We couldn't believe it because like we mentioned, like everybody thought Gunther will retain this one. And for it to not happen in that shocking manner, masterpiece.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So
Hey,
moving on.
but hold up just for a second, like to take a shot at somebody. There are people out there that will give this only a 4-star match review because it wasn't at the Tokyo Dome or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what CM Punk says. Who cares about a fat guy behind a computer that's giving stars about
Oh yeah,
matches? So moving on to the main event. Rock, Roman, Rollins, Cody. The match of ours. Rollins, Rhodes, Roman, Rock. The 4 Rs. They did a really great job with the Rock's intro. The whole flames and everything. I thought
yeah,
that looked great.
yeah,
The Rock cinematically never ceases to not impress anybody there.
yeah,
Roman's entrance was, I think that one was basic. Obviously, they were saving that one for
yep.
the following night.
Uh,
And then
all the other 3 except of the Rock just got basic entrances because they had all their main matches the
following
night
night.
after. So that's why the Rock got his, like, big entrance with the Brahma Bull being on fire on the stage, him literally walking through the fire to get into the bull, and it was an incredible presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, and this match probably surprised me the most. So obviously I had Seth taking the pin. It was not Seth, it was Cody. It
Yeah.
was The Rock doing it. I think we both predicted The Rock pinning somebody. We just didn't know. We weren't sure who.
Yep.
Obviously, I think you need to give the flowers to The Rock, because he came
Oh,
in and wrestled
100%.
47 minutes. And it wasn't like, for example, Roman wrestled 30 and The Rock wrestled 10. It was, it was slow at first.
Yeah.
They kind of started off slow to get it up to pace. And then I think what
But
threw
it's
it off.
always like bloodline matches are always this way. They start off slowly because they want to tell the story within the match. Then Roman starts shit talking a little bit. The Rock starts shit talking, and then like it goes off the rail. Like at some point, like the match literally lures you in, so you build an emotional connection to the match, and then it goes completely bananas.
And then I think the match kicks up intensity the moment The Rock tells the ref, "Don't you fucking count. Don't fuck with The Rock here."
Yeah,
And like he flexes
dude,
his authority
what
figure.
character work?
I know, it was great. And then it just becomes, essentially, it's practically a no disqualification match at that point.
Yeah.
Both of them go, both sides go into each of their owns. They go into the crowd, they fight. Roman and them, it's just an absolute brawl. And I was reading reports that when The Rock knew he was coming back, he had a ring sent to his house in Hawaii, and he was training nonstop, and he was having some NXT people get him into
Yep.
ring shape. So, because remember when Rock fought Cena the second time, The Rock practically just broke down physically. Like, he got
Yep.
injured mid-match, and then they had to, kind
Yep.
of rush the ending and whatnot. Where this, like, The Rock probably wrestled one of the best matches I've ever seen him wrestle.
Yeah,
like
and it's
in a
incredible.
very
Like
long time.
after over a decade where he hasn't done like any ring work except of like dishing out some rock bottoms in WrestleMania promos or whatever,
And hindering the
like
gender.
and hindering the gender. And what who did he give one when he was with
Austin
Ronda
Theory.
Rousey?
Oh, he did that to
Yeah,
Triple H and Stephanie, but he did Austin Theory with Pat McAfee.
yeah. No,
So
it
the
was,
yeah,
dude, it was crazy. Dude, he took, spoiler alert, a spear by Roman Reigns, and I think that will go on a separate storyline in some way at some point.
yep.
He got rock bottomed by Cody through the announce table. Like the dude took all the finishes and
Bumps. Yeah.
everything. Hey, he took bumps. His moves were incredible. He was crisp in the ring. Like he didn't even sweat. His trash talking, him like taking the prime bottle, drinking and spitting it in Cody's and Seth's faces. Dude, the character work, the in-ring work, like by all four was incredible. But The Rock was the guy that exceeded like our expectations that actually made this great.
They did. I didn't expect it to be 47 minutes. I
Yeah,
really didn't expect that match to be
dude.
47 minutes. I think technically it was longer than night 2.
Yeah,
Like
especially with the 4 entrances and everything.
I thought that was great. I mean, outside of the undercard matches, I think night 1 was great. It was a good show, right? Well, it's a WrestleMania show. It wasn't like that. There was only
Yeah,
like obviously the 2 matches that were just really poor.
yeah.
But I thought I enjoyed it. And then moving on to night 2, where all the events that transition into it, I thought.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the opening, Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. I thought that was a great match. I thought Drew was on the
Dude,
front foot
I
trying to
loved
end
it.
Seth right then and there, and then CM Punk
Yeah,
on commentary, which was great.
it
Uh,
was hilarious.
I think so. We called Drew winning, and then
Yeah,
I sprinkled it to you where I said I'm 100% convinced Priest cashes in.
yeah,
How he cashed in, I didn't predict it, but I thought it was funny. So Drew McIntyre tweets mid-match. He takes the phone from his wife and says, "Bored at work, LOL."
LOL.
And that was and that he tweeted that mid-match. And I
Yeah,
think Drew's social media work has been absolutely phenomenal. Seth sold it well that he's not at 100% with his leg injury and whatnot from what he sustained
yeah,
the previous night.
and being taped up and everything.
Yep. Yeah, he still wrestled a pretty damn good match too for,
Oh,
air
yeah.
quotes playing beat up.
Yeah.
I just think the best part was when Drew was taunting CM Punk and then CM Punk said, "You know what? I've had enough of this." Pulls out
Hey,
his feet from the table, hits him in
F
the
it,
head a
I'm
couple of
coming for
times
you.
with the brace, and then Damian Priest comes out, and then I don't think Samantha was told that Damian Priest was cashing in because she couldn't
Oh,
even
no.
announce it. She couldn't even announce it.
Yeah,
She was so like,
yeah.
Damian Priest is cashing in his contract, and then Priest, South
Dude,
of Heaven wins it.
it was
Am
great.
I, for shock value, incredible. Do I think Damian Priest is main event world title guy? Not really.
I think we agree on that he like is not our main event. Like I don't see him in the main event of WrestleMania next year. Sorry to spoil you there, dude. If they
Yeah,
prove me wrong,
I think
the people will clip this.
I think
No, but
yeah, I think a friend of ours on the Raw After Mania will give us some ammunition for his promo.
yeah,
I thought that was funny, but
yeah.
yeah, I thought that was a great way to go into it. The next match is the Street Profits and Bobby
Hold up,
Lashley
hold up.
versus.
Just let me here
Oh, okay.
go with just one point in addition to it. I think how how they how they presented this one as well, because McIntyre also got cocky and took his eyes off the main thing and started taunting CM Punk and forgetting there's still a threat out there. And again, it adds to the theme like of the weekend, that the cocky, arrogant heel that doesn't focus on the main thing lost his title, and he had a whole 5 minute and 46 second championship reign. Congratulations, Drew McIntyre. Which is 5 minutes more than some of you guys left in bed.
So the next match was what we were calling the bathroom break match. Actually ended up being decently entertaining. I mean, with the introduction of
It
the
was
special
better
guest
than the
referee.
Usos match.
Oh yeah, anything is at this point. Watching Juventus play is better than the Usos match.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the I think it's Bubba Ray Dudley coming out there and reffing. I thought was awesome. Street Profits using some of his moves there. They won the match. It doesn't surprise me that was the case. I just like I said, I don't know what they want to do with Karrion Kross and them. It's just, they lost matches against AJ Styles in the OC, and then now they lost this one against the Street Profits, and it's just kind of like, what do you do with these guys? So I'm hoping with the creation of the tag division, something happens.
Yeah. No, I hope so. Like this match was completely carried by Snoop Dogg on commentary. Was great out there. Like he had some great lines like, "Hey Michael, I can't do here what I can do in the back there, so have fun." Like what Michael Cole asked him if he wants to stay on commentary a little bit more, and him making like weed references all the time. So that was great, and they tried everything to make this match interesting and relevant. So Bully Ray as the special guest referee, Snoop Dogg as a special guest commentator, and the match was actually it was a high octane, it was big guys running into each other, jumping on top of each other the whole time, and yeah. It was a good match, but not WrestleMania. The build-up wasn't WrestleMania worthy.
It's like a TLC.
But the match
it's like a TLC. Yeah, it's like a TLC tables, ladders, and chair build-up or something like that.
Yeah.
It was better than Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos and them in the Usos match. So they shocked us with that one being produced better. The next one is AJ Styles versus LA Knight. I thought that was a great match. This was LA Knight's coronation match, in my opinion, where he is going to now become a menace in the main event scene wherever he gets drafted.
He's a absolute main eventer now.
Yes.
He got an incredible pop. This battle was for who has the longest Slim Jim in his pants.
Pretty much.
It was a high octane match. Immediately AJ got his new entrance, and we didn't even get to hear that to the end because he just ran into the ring and they started brawling, and the match started immediately. Yeah, it was a match that we usually would expect from Sheamus, for example, like a guy that's just a big dude that chops your chest and everything. It was a match like that, and it was a good feud. The build-up was good, and I think the result showed they 100% believe in LA Knight. And if we go by the images we saw later that night, LA Knight is 100% in the main event scene.
Yeah, I think this was a way. I think this was just a way to sideline LA Knight from going after the main stuff, and I think now we're going to see it. I don't know if he's going to challenge Cody. I don't know if he's going to challenge Damian Priest, but so many questions on the pathways of where he's going to go and what's going to happen per se. But overall, I thought LA Knight looked great. I thought AJ Styles looked great. I thought it was an entertaining match. The next one, Io Sky versus
AJ with his body. My God,
yoked completely.
Dude, you can't tell me he's not juiced to the fullest.
He's been eating what the Rock's been cooking.
Oh yeah.
The next one, we've got Bayley, Io Sky. I thought the match was good. The build up to it was just kind of meh. I didn't find it anything crazy, but Io Sky is always an amazing in-ring performer. I've always liked her in the ring. Bayley, absolutely. I think everyone saw that a mile away that Bayley was winning. I think they needed Bayley to win to take that new title and essentially just kind of elevate it a little bit more. So that's kind of why they gave Bayley the win there. I don't really have much to say on this one.
No, I don't too. Like, I just want to say, like, Bailey was carried onto the stage by four guys, and most of the time those people end up being like future world champions. So have your eyes out on that one, because
MJF might have been
Triple
there.
H wants to go. Oh, hey, who knows? Hey, there's some speculation of after Raw, but hey, I don't think so. But yeah, no, Triple H was once accompanied to the ring by Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks, I believe. And hey, those became all of them became world champs. So yeah, match
Yeah.
was high flying. Like it was what we expected. Like Master was Apprentice. They all countered each other's moves the whole time. And yeah, we knew, I think, how who would be champ after the match, and that was Bailey in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the more predictable ones. Besides,
Yeah.
was it is this next one going to be predictable, or is it just because we saw it coming from a mile away? The final match, the main event: Cody Rhodes, Roman
Hold
Reigns,
up, hold up.
Bloodline
No,
rules. Oh,
we
did we
jumped
skip?
over one.
Did we skip one?
The US Championship match.
I totally forgot.
Yep.
That was a
And
great
that's it
match.
for
I just don't know why I forgot
yep.
about it. The only thing to be honest with you, the only thing I really remember about that match is I show Speed getting RKO'd and
Oh my god. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
I was expecting KSI to pop out, and then you see Speed pop out, and he starts barking at Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton puts him on
Dude,
the
and he
table and
got
goes, "Bark,
manhandled.
bark, bark," and then RKO's him on the table.
Yeah. No, this match was 100% like what we expected, I believe. It was first in the first 10 minutes a 2-on-1 handicap match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So they destroyed Logan Paul. And yeah, Randy Orton was the first guy to try yeah to kill the the guy he's working with, and he was the first one to try to get Kevin Owens with an RKO. That was, I believe, expected. And yeah, the Ronaldo simp like basically got manhandled by Randy completely, which was also hilarious. And please, I want this to be now a yearly thing on WrestleMania, that whoever's in the prime bottle is somewhat of a star that gets RKO'd or whatever. Like this needs to be a year, an annual gimmick for me.
Yeah, I know. I thought again, Randy and Kevin are great performers. I think Logan Paul is just rising with how well he
Oh
performs.
yeah, dude, his in-ring work for how short he was there is incredible. The dude is an athlete, a high flyer. Dude, nothing but respect.
Yeah, I just continue to be impressed with how Logan Paul wrestles in the ring.
Yeah.
Just he's so damn good at this point. Like I'm just like,
Dude,
wow.
he is a bigger Ricochet, and it's incredible, like to be like to do or being able to do any sort of the moves that Ricochet is doing, and he's doing it, and I my respect to it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're good there. I think we can move on to the
Yeah.
final match, and which is the main event.
Oh yeah.
I like Saturday, it built up slow. You had Roman taunting, trolling, doing a crossroads,
Yep.
getting a kendo stick and all that stuff. Then the match starts picking up momentum, and then Cody's about to start, his crossroads sequence. Jimmy Uso comes, super kicks him. Jey Uso comes out, spears him off the stage. Cody goes back into the ring, starts fighting again, gets him into one crossroad, gets ready to do the second crossroad. Then Solo Sikoa comes out. Solo does a Samoan spike, and then you have a spear spike, and then you see Cody just kick out, and Cody was just kicking out after near fall after near fall after near
Yep.
fall. And then Solo picks up Cody, says, finish the story now. And Roman's like, I know,
Finish the
I'm going
story.
to. And then all of a sudden you hear Cena's theme come out. Cena's running out, doesn't even look at Stu. That's how about business John Cena was. Cena usually looks at Stu when he runs out. Comes out, AA's Solo, sends him through a table, attacks, and then all of a sudden you just hear the final boss come out, and The Rock comes out just yelling, "Get the
Dude,
fuck out
what
of
a
my ring.
moment.
What the fuck are you doing?" And everyone's just having chills. Cena and Rock once again, and they're squaring off. Cena does the "you can't see me." Rock bottoms him, sends him onto the
Like
ground.
immediately destroys him.
just smokes him. It unfortunately turns Cena into a jobber there, and then I think this is the one thing that got everyone like blown away was the Shield theme
Oh my
starts
god.
playing.
Hey, let me
How many
ask
people
you.
thought it was Dean Ambrose?
I thought, dude, the crazy thing is you forget in these moments that Moxley like absolutely hates WWE. So you forget this that in the first seconds. And that's why I thought, oh my god, that they struck a deal for him with I don't know, like 100 million for one of appearance or something. So you completely forget all those. If you're emotionally invested like this, you completely forgot all of that stuff and that he's not in the company and everything. But I was in the same boat that I thought for a second or a couple of seconds there that he will come out there with Seth.
Yeah, and then you get to see Shield Seth come out and instantly just get Superman punched by Roman as he steps out.
Oh yeah,
Rock takes out the Mama Rhodes belt, gets ready to whip Cody, and then here's the one that caught
and
me by
then
surprise: Guang.
the
He just
biggest surprise. Oh my god,
Guang, and then lights go out. Undertaker pops out looking at The Rock, and The Rock's like, "Who wants it? Come here. Who wants to deal with the final boss?" And he turns around and you see Undertaker, and he freaks out. And
dude!
my first impressions that night, I was just kind of like, I thought it was Stone Cold. Guess there was an issue, maybe it was Stone Cold. But then from what I've read and what I've seen is that Undertaker essentially during his time at WWE was the locker room leader, and that was kind of like Undertaker acknowledging Cody as the next person per se, and
And
helping him out
and
there.
also the Undertaker being like the actual final boss.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
and then
with his aura and everything, for even
I got
the Rock
chills.
to be scared, I had chills. Dude, seeing him behind the Rock, the Rock talking his shit and then turning around and all of a sudden like being completely in shock and scared. And goddamn, what a beautiful chokeslam! And the Rock
Yeah,
again took it like a champ. Dude,
but
his selling this whole weekend was incredible, man.
yeah, it was awesome. And then
Dude, he sold the spear in the first night like he got hit by a truck, and I loved it, dude. It was crazy.
yep, and then the lights go out, and the Undertaker, drags The Rock to hell with him. And this next part I thought was cinematic beauty.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah.
lights come back on. Cody's barely getting up. Roman's getting up. There's a steel chair. There's the belt. There's Seth Rollins pulling himself up on the apron. Back turned to Roman. And instead, and this is again the moral, the story of the weekend, right? The heels being overconfident on something and it costing them. So instead of taking the chair to Cody, Roman held that 10-year grudge against Seth Rollins.
Dude, over 10 years by now, I believe.
Yeah, and hit Seth Rollins in the back with the chair, completely identical to what Seth did to him. And that moment gave Cody enough time to counter Roman's spear, hit the 3 crossroads, pin Roman, and end Roman Reigns' reign once and for all.
Oh my
And
god. I couldn't believe it.
I
You
wish.
know, there's still even if you expect the result, even if the result is somewhat clear, the moment the referee like counts to 3 and it happening is still incredible. Like I have chills. Dude, I'm still emotional with that one. Dude,
Yeah,
it was
I'm
incredible
like,
because we saw a historic storyline ending. We saw a historic title reign ending, and these are like in the all years I am watching live, like I mentioned at the beginning, this was the biggest storyline I have ever witnessed, like in person within the WWE. So I'm a bit like more invested because this was like my first actually like big actual beginning to start storyline that I witnessed, and I never thought that there could be a payoff to this that will make us think, man, what a great ending to this great story. I always thought that we will be like a year after it ends, or maybe even like immediately, that we will think like, hey, this ending wasn't like, it wasn't worth for this specific storyline, but hey, it
Well, I
was
mean,
incredible.
we had the like for example, it's like the Daniel Bryan run 10 years ago, right? Everybody knew Daniel was going to win the title at the end, but it was still the moment and
Yeah,
the tap out Batista, tap out Batista. Like I remember Michael Cole
yeah,
saying that back then. It's still like even though we knew it was going to happen, I still thought it was great. And it's the same thing with this. Like you can know the result, but the like for example, you
and the
know the
Undertaker streak ending.
yeah.
I didn't believe that as well.
Yeah. And then it's just like, for example, and it kind of goes into the story of life, right? Where it's like, you know where the destination is, but it's the journey that takes you to that
Yeah,
destination that really
yeah,
that captures it for you. So I thought it was
yeah,
great. The celebrations with all the faces coming out, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, which even though I haven't seen LA Knight and Cody Rhodes interact that much with each other. So I thought, that's
yeah,
kind of some symbolism right there. You had Randy, you had Cena come out. So I again, I just was awesome. It was like a 30-minute celebration per se. Triple H coming out as well. It was a great way to end Raw. It honestly was, and I felt bad for the
yeah.
Undertaker because he's stuck under the ring until I got finished.
No, the poor guy had to hide there.
Like he's stuck under the ring, and then this is again kudos to Roman Reigns, right? Like Roman Reigns was the catalyst that made all of this fall together.
Yeah,
So I know he's probably going to take some time away because of his illness, because you could tell he wasn't looking like in the best, even though he wrestled great despite being sick and
yeah,
whatnot. So he's probably going to take a hiatus for a while. And Triple H said there's
yeah,
going to be more for him. There's going to be a new story for him. So I'm curious to see there
yeah.
because I think Roman's done a phenomenal job. And, again, without him, the Renaissance era wouldn't have occurred. I think that's the one
Oh
thing.
no.
Like, despite,
Yeah,
him barely being there, defending part time and all that other baloney and stuff, Roman Reigns had the aura, like
absolutely.
some of the best aura outside of maybe currently the final boss version of The Rock. But like
Yeah,
Roman Reigns' aura was something that just made, his feuds with LA Knight, his feuds with Sami Zayn, the tribal
yeah,
court, the whole Sami Zayn situation, like the way that Roman just like, when Roman is there, you want to watch an episode of SmackDown. Like you want to
yeah.
see what it's about. So I'm gonna miss him. Obviously,
Oh, 100,
you know,
100%. He's my tribal chief.
yep. So I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna be curious to see how Cody is now as the super duper champion per se.
Yeah,
But it's probably hands down probably the most entertaining
yeah.
WrestleManias. Most
Oh, absolutely. Hey, just let me carry you through some
cook.
last things that I think were absolutely like cinema as well. There was so much in this match that I just rewatched it before we started, and that's why I have like everything ready. So, dude, Cody got basically a Triple H an entrance. Like he had the mask, he had his wife Brandy out there. She took his mask and everything. And like the symbolism to Triple H, who was the guy that came sometimes out there with Stephanie, and he's wearing the mask, ironically. And now for it to be the guy that broke Triple H's throne at the first
I
AEW
know.
pay-per-view and got the sledgehammer handed by his wife, dude, like this is a incredible full circle moment that Cody basically is the new that is the symbol of Cody being the new face of the company. And for me, it's just full circle for him to be a mid carder in WWE, creating his own, like Michael Cole said, his own damn story, and then coming back and finishing the story right here, dude.
And I think
That was
and I think you
incredible
gotta you
cinema.
gotta give credit to Tony Khan as well.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I think like for example, if it wasn't for Tony Khan either, like Cody wouldn't have been as obviously credit to Cody, right? Like it's not like Tony Khan made Cody Rhodes and all that stuff by himself.
yeah.
But it's
Like
just like it
Cody
wasn't
worked in, in Japan and everywhere, like around the world, make himself big, and him making himself big, like got them to the possibility of opening their own company.
Yep. And then if it wasn't for Khan and Rhodes and them, like for example, Vince McMahon wouldn't have flown to Cody's house trying to beg him to come back. Like if it wasn't for
Yeah,
AEW, like to be honest with you, AEW probably did, and I'll cover this a little bit later. But if it wasn't for AEW, we wouldn't have gotten a rejuvenated CM Punk, and we wouldn't have gotten Cody
Oh,
Rhodes.
no.
Like
Yeah, and we wouldn't and we may have got, because of AEW, a new superpower with Jade. We will see how that pans out. Andrade had his run at AEW, and he just became way bigger than he was now that he returned. It is a great thing for there to be competition, because it also brings out the best of WWE, because they know they can't f around with their booking, and that's why we just got the greatest WrestleMania like of all time,
and that's why Drew won the
in
world
my
title for
opinion.
5 minutes.
Oh yeah, and I also let me also just say, in all my years again of watching live wrestling, Roman had just like the greatest entrance I have ever seen.
With the
Like,
orchestra.
dude, with the orchestra singing him to the ring, like the live instruments playing, he came in like Thanos basically. Dude, it was the best, the most like electric entrance I have ever saw, and I still have goosebumps, and I watched it about 150 times by now. And
Yeah.
dude, and also the detailing, I don't know if you paid attention to it. Every single like member of the orchestra had a red armband around their
Oh yeah, yeah,
around
yeah, yeah,
their
yeah,
their,
yeah.
their ankles, which is a nod to his
His glove.
to the brace he has on his hands. Also, the detailing was incredible. Samantha, and how she got us into the match with her announcing them. I also have still goosebumps out there. Like the setup, it was like just like a movie. It didn't feel like a sport or sports entertainment event anymore. It was a movie we were in, and that's why it emotionally like inv- got us invested like this. The setup was incredible. Roman's trash talk was incredible. Your shoulders are too small, are too small to carry this company. And when he had the crossroads on Cody, and Cody
What a
kicked out,
shitty move.
I told you all this is a shit move. Can't win shit with it. It was incredible. And even before people got involved, I think this was the best bloodline match in the whole 4 years. Even before
Yeah.
people got involved, I think this was the best match we saw for this whole, and I repeat, 1,316-day title reign. We witnessed
You're
history.
never gonna see. Yeah, you're never gonna see anything like that ever again.
No, no,
Never again.
never. We didn't even. The Hogan is, I think, has more days. Bob Backlund and Bruno
San Martino.
Sammartino. Those will never get beaten. But in the modern era, where we had basically sometimes from show to show to change the title, for a guy to keep the title and make it believable that a guy can keep a title for 4 years, that was just, dude, just incredible.
Yeah.
And the image of Rock and Cena was incredible. Like the right now biggest heel in wrestling and the actual boss, and John Cena like being called the GOAT the whole time by the announce team. That face off, I do you think there will be a payoff to it at some point?
I don't
Or
think
do you
so.
think it was just
I think it's just an Easter
the
egg.
moment to get us invested?
Yeah, I think it's just that. I don't see
Dude.
Cena and Rock going one more time. I think Cena's winding down.
Yeah. When the Shield music hit, Roman knew immediately where Seth is coming, because he knows all their moves. And I think there will be a payoff to that in some way at some point, like down the line, like and then I don't know if it won't be right now a thing, because there are bigger fish to fry right now for Roman if he returns at some point. But that payoff, and giving like just the meanest Superman punch we have ever seen, just because it's Seth receiving that chair shot and actually being like he promised to Cody, the actual shield there, because he shielded Cody from that chair shot, and allowing Cody to win the title. And the craziest thing for me is just Roman, 100% like Thanos. He got his payback. He got his win over Seth. And I quote Thanos there, but what did it cost you? Everything.
Everything.
And
Everything.
he got his payback, but at the cost of losing his historic title reign. And it's absolute cinema. It was absolute cinema. I loved everything about it. And yeah, this was like I said before, the greatest WWE title reign in history. Like just by sheer length, and also think by entertaining and the presentation and everything was great. For me, the greatest storyline I witnessed just ended, and the emotional like investment into it by myself, by everybody watching, like people are still talking about it and will for decades like talk about this ending. And Samantha Irving, my God, the way she announced it in tears,
Mhm.
it had me
It had
choked
it
up as
had
well.
grown men crying.
Yeah, man.
At least the Philly crowd picked it up.
The Philly crowd the second night was great. It felt like an actual WrestleMania. The first night is dead, and there were like some people saying, yeah, because it was cold, they weren't in the mood and everything. But the night 2 crowd, like, is incredible.
I mean, the Raw after Mania crowd was hilarious.
Oh yeah, this is awkward.
They said, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
You're saying that to The Rock.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, and how he then dissed the crowd again. He has everybody like in the palms of his hands, and he just like this can turn it around. And yeah, man. And before going towards Raw, I just want to acknowledge the tribal chief. And and honestly, Dash knows this. I am a Roman Reigns fan, but I wanted Cody to win this one because at some point this storyline had to end, and this was the best possible ending we could have got for the storyline. The ending was incredible, presentation was incredible, and the cinematic value was incredible. And dude, we were literally witnessing history, and I honestly I'm lucky enough to have watched that, and I'm incredibly happy with it. And props to Roman Reigns, who literally battled leukemia and isn't like still taking medicine and pills and everything, and undergoing therapy to keep it regressed. And the dude put in a 4-year title reign while battling leukemia. And my respect. I acknowledge him as the tribal chief. Still, whenever he comes back, if he calls himself the big dog or whatever he returns to or whatever he stays, the dude has my respect. And yeah, man, he's up there in my greatest of all time list. I don't know yet if he's the GOAT actually, but let's talk about that at a later point.
Yeah,
But
I would give that
to
some.
that man.
I was gonna say I would give that some time because I know that really honestly goes
Yeah.
to what era of wrestling that people are watching, right? And kind of going into Raw now is you have this new era where you have Triple H kind of going out and coordinating Cody Rhodes, telling him that, hey, you deserve it, you're the guy. The crowd as well, with the whole "you deserve a chance." They actually went for the smaller screen setup so they could fit more people because 20,000 people for a Monday Night Raw show is insane. That's like pay-per-view
I hope
levels.
I hope they keep these sets for Raw and SmackDown, because I love that you have more noise and you don't need the big stage actually for the weekly shows. I would keep them for the premium live events, the big stages, and for WrestleMania, of course, the biggest stage. And I absolutely love this presentation. And for me, like, I hope they keep this, but I think they will revert back to the standard
They'll
at
revert
some
back.
point
I mean,
after this week.
yeah, because they They had like this reminds me of like the '90s, like the Raw is War. That's how old this setup is.
Yep.
But yeah, but I thought the promo,
Bless you.
thank you. I thought the promo was a typical starting promo, right? Where you're, coordinating Cody, kind of recapping that, Cody talking to the crowd. Uh, Still, man, when The Rock came out, chills again. Like the Rock just
Just
knows how to make an entrance.
every single time. The man just looks apart.
He
He
does.
feels apart when his music hits, and honestly, his new theme, I don't think we have talked about it. It is
It's
just
awesome.
chills. It feels like a supervillain coming in, and
It's
boy,
like the final boss.
yeah.
The Rock kind of coming out saying, "Look, no blood, no none of this. I'm just here to give you your flowers." And it kind of was like, "I made you bleed. I did this, and yet you still finished your story." And The Rock gives you kudos to that. The thing that I kind of find a little bit ironic is like Cody seems kind of like a pushover, right? Where The Rock's like, "That's a nice belt you have there. Can I hold your belt? And I'll give you my belt." And Cody's like, "Okay, here you go." Like I just find that a little bit weird. Like I don't know, maybe Cody like is that really the best they could have came up with writing wise? Like
No, no, the thing for me is the whole segment didn't make any sense if you look at it.
they're trying to
So
tease a
I
SummerSlam match.
I think they try to not only SummerSlam, I think they try to tease, like, something deeper with what he handed, him after that, with all of a sudden them being that friendly to each other, and The Rock
I think
saying, don't break my heart again." Like, what was that sexual energy, like, all of a sudden?
well, so some people are speculating that that was a dusty watch that he handed Cody, or like
But
for
he got
example,
the Dusty watch, earlier from, from Triple H and Nick Khan already. People are speculating if it's, MJF's ring that, MJF took him out with and whatever, or one of the flowers from Roman's, what is it? The tribal
well, I
chief,
mean,
necklace.
whatever he handed him pissed him off because Cody looked pissed.
Dude, he
So
looked pissed, he looked angry, and that's what I think The Rock wanted, to make a friendly impression, but whatever he handed him, it's like something that will further upon this storyline and make it like something actually like what if it's, for example, what if he goes into his character and because he was the tooth fairy and broke into Cody's home somehow and
gives
took
him
a
a
tooth off
tooth.
his daughter or
I
whatever.
think I
No,
think it's yeah, I thought that was actually interesting because that was the first time I've actually seen Cody's daughter.
yep. And that
But
was sweet, by the way.
yeah,
That
that
was
was
sweet.
awesome. That was awesome. And it's just like it's tough for you to hate Cody. I just one of those things where I kind of hope that
Yep.
they give Cody a little bit more teeth, a little bit more grit now per se,
Yeah.
where it's just like
I hope so.
they kind of neuter. I don't know if it was The Rock that neutered him character wise or what, but I'm hoping that they kind of do that.
Yep.
So that was the opening promo, full hour. It actually ran later than they planned because they had to skip a couple of things, right? Some intros for some of the matches and whatnot. The next match was
Yep.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ilya Dragunov. Shinsuke's entrance, even if he's a heel, will still get people to sing too. This was
Dude, all time.
essentially
Great entrance.
Dragunov is getting called up in the draft. I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says. He is 100%
Yeah.
getting. He is the Russian Gunter. Like he is a great storyteller in the ring, a great wrestler.
By the way, he's part German, and on his wrestling pants or his trunks, there's written "Unbesiegbar Zar." Unbesiegbar means the unbeatable Tsar, and it's German actually on his trunks.
Yeah. So awesome.
So
And
I'm rooting for him, obviously.
you're biased. But yeah, after I mean, that was a great match. Really demonstrated per se really demonstrated his capabilities and how good he was. And there's no doubt. I think the question is how does he drop the title? Whether he just gets drafted and he
Yep.
leaves it, we don't know for sure. But the next part of Raw I thought was fucking hilarious. Judgment
Oh
Day
yeah.
comes out. Judgment Day is celebrating their title. It looks like Damian Priest got a brand new opening. as he says, "All rise for the Judgment Day," and quoting him and Rhea winning their matches respectively and having their titles. You see R-Truth pop up out of nowhere with the tag title, holding it up. Absolute comedic moment with Priest saying, "Oh hell no!" And Truth is like, "I thought we could
I
all
won them back
celebrate
for us.
together.
I
I
won them
brought
back
the."
for us.
He's like, "I brought the Raw titles back to the Judgment Day." They're pissed off. Everyone's jumping Truth, and then Miz comes out.
The Miz comes out. I don't want to be part of the Judgment
I don't
Day.
want to be part of this. What are you talking about? And then
That was
they're like,
hilarious.
why don't you? And then Finn's like, why don't you guys defend those titles tonight? And then Truth's like, I don't think we can because there's 3 of us versus 3 of you. And then everyone's looking. He's like, the guy that's on our team is the guy that you can't see. And then Miz is like,
And
this isn't little Jimmy.
first of all, I immediately knew what is happening, of course, because that was obvious.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it was hilarious for Miss saying, "You're not talking about little Jimmy."
You're not talking about little Jimmy, right? And then
Dude,
Judgment Day accepts.
what if little Jimmy was John Cena the whole time, and that's why we can't see him?
Oh my god. So the match actually
Dude,
starts off as a
imagine that being a storyline.
Truth could pull it off. Truth is hilarious enough to do it, but the match starts off as a 2-on-3 handicap match. Judgment Day is giving it work because obviously they have an extra man. And then, 3/4 into the match, you see John Cena just sprint down to the field. And again, not even greeting Stu, just going straight for it. The finish was hilarious. They all did essentially
This was
Cena's
great.
moves, the shoulder charge, the 5-knuckle shuffle, and the AA, and all 3 of them pinned everybody for the win.
Made it a 15 knuckle shuffle.
15 knuckle shuffle. They get the pin. And it was just, I thought it was, that was a great comedic match to just break the tension, have some fun with it. And I enjoyed it. It was awesome. Moving on to the next part. So this was another NXT debut for Roxanne Perez, who beat Indy Hardwell, where there was a little bit of beef between the two back in NXT. Roxanne's probably going to get called up. I don't think now. I think probably later down the road, because you can't throw all of your NXT talent on the main roster because that's not good. So she gets a win there. They're really starting to push a potential split between Indy and Candice LeRae from what it looks like. Obviously, Candice is heel. Indy's kind of a face, but it's just no one really cares about Indy and Candice. So they're kind of hoping that this kind of builds something. So we'll see where that goes. Next scene, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable. Always a blast to watch those two and to see those two team up. Sammy's doing a promo, essentially talking about winning and giving kudos to Gunter and whatnot. And Imperium come out essentially saying that they're gonna, Sammy looks like a joke. Doesn't have, as Ludwig says, he doesn't have the European style and elegance to be an intercontinental champion, and he's going to ruin all the work.
Like that.
Yeah. So Sammy calls Chad Gable out. Chad Gable and Sammy tag against Imperium. Great match. All of them are great wrestlers, to be honest with you. It's a great match.
Dude, all the performers, the card, the roster, it's absolutely stacked with incredible talent.
Yep, and the match ends. Sammy gives Gable the opportunity to get the game winner, or essentially the pin. And back in the locker room, Sammy's talking with Chad, saying, "Hey, your favor's paid." And Chad's like, "What? Yeah, I let you get the win. I let you get the pin. That's not what I meant." And Sammy's like, "I'm just messing with you, dude." And he tells Chad, next week in Montreal, Sammy's hometown, Chad versus Sammy for the Intercontinental title. This would be a shock drop if Sammy does it. I don't know, maybe, possibly. Who knows? Sammy could possibly drop the title there. I doubt it. It's in his hometown.
I don't think in Montreal, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I can't wait to hear the pop there. The pop is going to be awesome.
Dude, the pop and the match. Dude, these two workers. The match will be incredible.
It's going to be. It has to be the main event next week. It's going to be 20 minutes at least.
Yeah. Hey, and both are beloved. Both are beloved by the crowd. Even Chad, although it's in Montreal, will get a great pop. Dude, I can't wait.
That's something to look forward to. The next scene transitions into Chelsea Green talking to, which is interesting. Ava's there. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are all talking about the draft. They essentially announced the draft being the 26th and the 29th. And Chelsea Green, yep, Chelsea Green coming out and saying, being the Karen that she is, saying, I wanted my moment. And they're like, oh, we'll give you a moment tonight. And it's your opponent for tonight. And Chelsea goes out there and Jade Cargill's theme hits and Jade comes out. And Chelsea Green versus Jade probably lasted maybe 3 minutes tops, 30 seconds, 3 moves.
No, the bell rung. She went like towards the referee there and basically wanted the match to stop. She turned her on, and it was this time only two moves. Like Jade stormed her into the ground once and then picked her up and put her finisher on her, and it was done already.
Finito. No chance
That's
whatsoever.
it. Hey, 2 moves. It was it.
That's all you needed. And then that pretty much wraps that up. And then it transitions to us in the main event where we had a very emotional promo from Drew McIntyre where Drew gives his flowers to Seth Rollins, but at the same time goes after Punk saying, he ruined my moment. He took it all away. And what made this funny was some of the stuff that he called Damian Priest. He called him a bondage Undertaker.
Dude,
I don't know. I think they're letting Drew.
Thing,
that is the closest thing to a slur you could possibly get.
Dude, the crazy thing is, remember what I told you? Drew McIntyre is basically a copy of every fan of us that reads all the stuff on X, and he's like, he even won the Slammy for social media superstar of the year. Dude, the man is hilarious, and he is actually saying what the WWE universe is thinking, because they call him bisexual Undertaker in the comments, and he can't go that far with it.
You can't say that because they got pissed when Roman called Seth a crossdresser. So like,
yeah,
he called him the bondage Undertaker, and then he's like, "I'd wipe your ass, but you'd like it." I don't know if he's saying I'd whip your ass or I'd wipe your ass, because sometimes Drew's accent's really thick, and then he's like, "I do
the
it."
accent was very, very thick there. I thought he said wipe.
I thought he said wipe.
Wiped, I think.
Like actually wipe it, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then he's going mid rant, and then Jey Uso comes out, and then Pat McAfee's getting on the table to do the Uso bump, and then Drew throws a microphone at him. And Michael Cole is like, you just got Pat, sit down. Pat, stop it. You've got a mic thrown at you. Pat, stop it. And then Pat's getting on the table to bump, and then Drew comes out and like stares him down as Jay's coming out there. And then Drew's just having a temper tantrum, getting chairs and shit and throwing them around. And Jay's in the middle of the ring like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then we go into commercial, and then everyone comes out, essentially Bronson Reed, Ricochet. Bronson Reed getting put in this match for the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, just more so because of the winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Ricochet from his hot streak, and I think Ricochet being in that match was a great idea, putting him in there.
Yeah.
The match goes on.
Dude,
you've got
his 450 or whatever it was later from the top rope. Dude, what a move! He even apologized to Samantha.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm sorry, I got to.
I have to."
He's like, "I got to," and it sends Bronson through the table. I think everyone knew Bronson wasn't going to win. I think people knew Ricochet wasn't going to win this match. I think it was going to be a toss-up between Drew and Jay. I think more so people were leaning towards Drew McIntyre. I think we were all thinking Drew, and it was going to look like it was Drew. Drew's lining up for the Claymore, and then something's grabbing his foot, and it's none other than CM Punk grabbing his foot, distracting Drew for a moment, and that gives
CM Punk laughing his ass off. Dude, the mimic and everything by CM Punk, the man is world class.
And then Jay gets the finish, wins the match, essentially becomes the #1 contender for that, and Raw pretty much essentially goes off the air right when the match ends per se. So there wasn't much there, but it was a great match. I thought it was I thought obviously when Ricochet's in the ring, anything he does is practically a highlight. I mean, that's just nuts. Top rope. Normally you'd see that top rope in the ring. Dude did a top rope on I think it was the Spanish announce table that he did it on. It was just it It is all you expected from a Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
crazy. The crowd was fun. I mean, again, for me, that crowd telling The Rock to shut the fuck up was awesome. USA
dude,
had to
it
bleep it.
was great.
I can't wait until Raw's on Netflix where you don't have to worry
Oh, yeah.
about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was hilarious.
And Philadelphia broke another record for the largest gathering of trailer park trash.
And then to add a little bit more insult to injury, Punk was doing the Jey Uso
Dude,
off the air in front of
hey,
Drew.
the man. Yeah.
Just CM Punk, absolute masterclass in trolling right now. I can't wait for that feud. I cannot wait for that feud to
Yeah.
happen with Punk. And
Oh, the question for me is though, and with all the other guys as well, will we get Jay versus Damian Priest immediately, or like how will the build up to that be? The question for me is because The Rock said to Cody, "I'm coming for you," so we will 100% get
that's
Cody
SummerSlam. That's going to be SummerSlam for
versus Rock.
sure.
And my question to that is, do you think that we will get Roman at? Will we see him still one more time after WrestleMania, like now for SmackDown, or is he gone for good right now until SummerSlam?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure, right? We'll see, because, like, for example, Roman released a video on his Twitter saying I mourn today is day one, showing him training. So he was saying yesterday that he was mourning the loss. Here's the thing with the draft, right? I'm doing my Rock thing. Here's the thing. So I think Cody will not go to SmackDown because the WWE title was on SmackDown, because SmackDown was the A show for the longest time. Now with
Yeah,
Raw going to Netflix,
yeah,
they're obviously, it's going to flip. So I think Cody stays on Raw. I think Damian
yeah,
Priest goes to SmackDown. Probably they send that over to SmackDown. I think the Intercontinental Championship stays on Raw. US title still stays on SmackDown.
yeah,
So it's gonna reminds me of like Ruthless Aggression, right? When Cena beat JBL for the WWE Championship, the WWE
yeah,
title went to Raw. The World Heavyweight Championship went to SmackDown. I think that's what we're gonna see
yeah.
now, essentially. I don't know who's going to what brand, uh, though. I think they're going to diversify the main event scene. I think because Raw
Yeah,
currently, right now, Raw has way more main event guys than SmackDown does,
yeah,
to an extent.
yeah.
And well,
And
maybe,
and especially with Roman and Rock not being there for a while, SmackDown needs, like, for the coming like months until SummerSlam at least, like needs like main eventers,
yeah, you're gonna have Damian Priest be the he's a transitional champion. I don't think anything else.
like
Uh,
just like Drew said.
yeah, it's Drew said. Bondage Undertaker is a transitional champ. You're gonna have I think, obviously, I think maybe Drew. I'm curious where Drew will go. I'm very curious to. I know, obviously, I think the one thing that we know is Priest and Rhodes on Raw. Priest is going to be on SmackDown. I'm curious to see how they divide this main event pool. Like, I really am, because, like, for example, Roman kind of screwed SmackDown to an extent where, like, you had to use Randy Orton, Kevin Owens as mid carders more than
Yeah,
actual, like, main events because of
yeah.
Roman. Where it's like, do they
Yeah.
elevate back to the main event scene? Are they like feuding for the top title in that division per se? So now it's just
I
kind of
think that
like,
I think they have to, because the next months will be such a big gap with Bloodline basically having no storyline until then. At least I expect having no big storyline
no,
until SummerSlam.
yeah, and it makes me wonder. Like, now I think what's, because SmackDown was really like Roman Reigns, everyone else. Really, like, everyone
Yeah,
else was like United States
yeah,
tier, where it's like now I think with SmackDown you can actually have a mid card, which I think, because
yeah,
SmackDown's going to transition into the Beast show, so you're going to have more mid card players. You're going to have a tag team division where it's like Raw, like the Intercontinental title is going to be held higher than the United States title, so you'll have like the upper mid card. So like the upper mid card
yeah,
folks will be on Raw. So air quotes, like Sami Zayn is like an upper mid card. The question that I have is, where does Gunter go? I'm very curious to see where he goes. Does he go after the world title, heavyweight championship? If he goes there, then that means him and
Yeah.
Imperium go to SmackDown. Or does he go after Cody Rhodes? That's gonna. I don't think that they're gonna put Cody Rhodes and Gunter in the same program, because I know they want Gunter to win a world title, and I don't. And I
Yeah.
don't believe.
And he can't do it by being on the same brand with Cody, I think.
No, I don't think so. I really do, because Seth is taking time off. I think it's been confirmed that Seth will be taking
Yeah.
some time
And
off.
and Becky as well. I think both of them will take some time off now.
So they're going to be taking some time off, and I'm just curious. I think Gunter is going to be the world heavyweight champion. I don't think anything changes
Yeah.
my opinion on that. I think he is going to be the heavyweight title holder. I think because right now with Roman gone, SmackDown needs a big heel. Damian Priest is not
Yeah.
a menacing heel. Even though he has the
No,
world title, he's not a heel. Yeah, I
I think
think you need.
Gunther is the only like actual big heel right now that is believable to be a dominant champion.
Yeah, my early predictions are, I think obviously Cody stays on Raw. I think Sami Zayn stays on Raw, and I think LA Knight stays on Raw or goes to Raw. I think those are my big three predictions. I think for the Raw brand, go ahead.
No, and I think like we won't see it right now, but the Bloodline I think will be on Raw as well, because you can do the uncut swearing and everything, the blood stuff and all of that on Raw than on Netflix.
And then for
So
SmackDown,
if you have all those guys over there, if the Bloodline comes to Raw as well, then you have to send even more talent to SmackDown.
yep. So that's why I think, so obviously Priest is one. I think Gunter and Imperium are the next ones that go to SmackDown, and then I think Jey Uso goes to SmackDown.
Do you think?
Possibly, I
I
think to
think
an extent.
I think he may still be there to whatever, or if some bloodline stuff happens to either turn Jimmy face. I don't think he will turn heel now back, because he's one of the most over baby faces. But I think he may be a piece they need still on Raw to be somewhere in that picture with the bloodline.
The reason why I'm saying it is I think Jay is going to be in the world title picture for the world heavyweight title. I think he's going to go after it. I don't see Jay and Cody feuding for it. Like I don't. I'm not really sure who. That's going to be interesting to see after the draft. We're not going to find out until the draft happens who
Yeah.
Cody's first challenger is going to be at Backlash, because Cody's probably going to defend the title at almost every pay per view. He's going to do what
Oh,
Seth
yeah.
did.
Oh, he's gonna do it at the big pay-per-views. He's gonna even do that on weekly shows, I believe.
Yeah, I can see that being contested a lot. I think he's going to. So it'll be very interesting to see what's going on there. But I think I finished all my thoughts. If you want to throw some thoughts down, we can close. We're at an
I
hour and
think
30.
with most of it, I agree with you. Like on nearly everything, I don't think I have like any additional thoughts. I let everything out. I'm just happy to be a wrestling fan at the best time of professional wrestling.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
You and I
Dude,
likewise.
I come from a time where when I was like 19 now, because I'm 29, where I got laughed at that I am still a wrestling fan at that age, because it was for children to be a wrestling fan, and now for wrestling to be mainstream, and to find for wrestling to be cool and mainstream and everybody talking about it. I finally got my redemption, and now I just have to finish my story and stay awake for the next WrestleMania.
I know. I not fall asleep. Yeah, and for me, I watched it and then I stopped watching it, and then Sami Zayn brought me back in. Honestly, so if it wasn't for Sami Zayn, I wouldn't be watching this again. That's why I have a special place in my heart for Sami Zayn. But those are our thoughts, not yours. If you guys have any thoughts, slap them in the comment. Obviously, again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys like this wrestling content, let us know and we'll start diversifying it. But more so, we're gonna just kick things off with a Dave and myself chat. Sometimes we'll get Frankie into the mix here. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you guys finish your story, and always remember to acknowledge your tribal YouTube channel. Have a good one, everybody.